If it is or if it ain't, it's going to come out. Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspirational juice. It is February the 18th, 2023, and today the topic is, what does a good man look like? Happy Saturday, everybody. Happy Saturday. Man, I hope that you all had a great Friday. Mine was just fine. Mine was chill, y'all. Mine was chill overall. I did not get out there and hustle in the streets yesterday. I stayed in, spent some time with my men folk, gave myself some self-care. Hey, finally, right? And yeah, basically how yesterday looked. After giving the little guy breakfast and everything like that, we ended up watching Little Bear, resting. My husband was doing his thing with the whole computer programming situation. At some point, we got the little guy ready because he went to visit his Nana this weekend, and I kept it as a surprise. So when it was time for him to get ready, he was like, where am I going? Why aren't you getting dressed? All these different questions that he had. But as soon as his Nana came, he was like, bye. And so I ended up having a quiet evening because my husband had a meeting and my little guy was gone. So I gave myself the self-care that I have been telling y'all that I'm going to do all week. I finally did it yesterday, last night, gave myself a mani and pedi. And yeah, that's pretty much what yesterday looked like for me. I try to tackle my son's room a little bit, try to tidy some of the things up as well. So that's something else I try to do. But yeah, that's pretty much it in regards to yesterday. Now the crazy thing is that after my husband's meeting last night, he decided to hustle in the streets. And technically, he is still hustling in the streets, right? And I believe that is part of my inspiration this morning to study what does a good man look like. There's a lot of things that made me think about this morning as well. Now I was interested and I felt like I was distracted all morning. I listened to the prayer meditation. I was kind of distracted, thinking about a lot of different things. And ultimately, I was like, do you have something for me to study today, Lord? At some point, I'm like, maybe I should just do a freestyle. I don't know. But I guess I got led back to this conversation about men and women, right? And in this dynamic, this pool that's between us these days that at least I notice. I don't know if anybody else notices, but it really seems to be something that is like trying to pull us apart. And there's a lot of, I guess when you see things on social media, different posts, different things that people have to say about, relationships, marriage, and then men in general or women in general, it's more negative. I mean, I feel like I do see a lot of positive things as well. So shout out to all the positive people, but on the flip side, I feel like I see a lot of negative things regarding marriage, sometimes even regarding relationships. And then definitely a lot of things coming between, again, the man and the woman. And I guess that was kind of my inspiration this morning. That's what I kind of studied. First, I just kind of, looked up verses centered around men. And I found that to be interesting because, obviously there are verses that are for men in general. And then there are more verses geared towards like husbands. And things like that. And I don't know. I just was thinking about a lot of different things this morning. I saw different articles. Oh Lord. One of the articles that I saw, I didn't read it, but I just saw the headline and the image or whatever. And it was talking about a trophy husband that has 3 wives. You know, it's just so much out here these days, right? That I guess is my inspiration of studying, like, what does a good man look like? Because I know, you know, as a woman, right, I've heard all the time, and I'm pretty sure I've said it a lot of time in my life as well. I want a good man, right? We say this. But then sometimes, like, when we see a good man, or we're in the presence of a good man, either we don't see it, we don't acknowledge it, we don't want that particular man. Like, it's just so many different things that happens, especially in the dating world. I mean, I know I told y'all a lot about, you know, my single Christian journey, and everything like that in my book or whatnot. But yeah, that just was the inspiration today. That's what I ended up studying. Like, what does a good man look like? And obviously, you know, I'm talking about according to the Bible, not according to the world standards, because that's another thing as well that crossed my mind and heart and whatnot regarding this. Because it's like, I don't know what women want, you know, or other women, you know. I don't think I ever thought about, like, my husband being in a certain tax bracket. You know what I mean? I never thought about, you know, how much he would make and all that type of stuff. I never thought about him to be the breadwinner or anything like that. I mean, maybe I'm just, you know, I grew up obviously with the man in the household. So shout out to my parents and whatnot, you know. And, you know, I saw what a hardworking man looked like, you know, a provider and things of that nature, you know. So, I mean, yeah, I guess I did think that, you know, my husband would be somewhat of that. But at the same time, you know, again, I share with you all the time that, you know, hey, I have like too many ideas and entrepreneurial endeavors to be a quote unquote housewife alone. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like in that aspect, I might have a little bit of that Proverbs 31 type of woman in regards to, like, being entrepreneurial, having and wanting to, you know, use my gifts and talents and things like that. So I never necessarily, you know, imagined to be a kept woman or a trophy wife or something like that. I guess I always assumed that there would be some type of work that I would be doing to, you know, assist our household and things like that. I mean, I don't know, but some people really get into that. Like, they really think about, like, it needs to be this, or, you know what I mean? And he needs to do that, and he needs to provide this and that and whatnot. And it's like, I mean, and then I know the constant battle online is like, well, what are you bringing to the table? And it's just a whole thing. This rah thing between men and women. But anywho, I ended up studying about the men today. I mean, I'm not out here trying to preach to nobody and tell nobody what they should be as a man or nothing like that. You know, hey, I acknowledge what the Bible has to say about, you know, all of that. I'm just sharing what I studied. This is what I personally studied this morning, okay? What does a good man look like? Because I would say that my husband has a lot of good man attributes. You know what I mean? The fact that, again, he's been hustling the street all night, doing Uber, y'all. That's what I mean when I say that, just in case y'all don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's doing that in this transition where, again, I think I shared with you all, but just in case you don't know, he was in this boot camp, this computer programming boot camp, and software development and whatnot is what his you know, degree is in, and what he really enjoys and what he really wants to get into. And so now that he's finished the boot camp, you know, this is a bit of a transition period, right? It's a, you know, a period where, you know, as he's going to be seeking, you know, to get into those type of positions, you know, obviously things need to still go on and happen around here. And so he, in the meantime, is doing these things like Uber and whatnot to, you know, supplement income or whatnot, right? And so, and that's a blessing, right? To have an individual that's willing to get out there and do what he has to do, you know, as a husband, as a man, and all that type of stuff. So I'm appreciative of that. Yes, I may have my little things, right? I may, obviously want a little bit more of his time or whatever the case is, right? I want us to fellowship. I have my things. But at the end of the day, I ultimately understand, right, that um the things that he's doing is for our overall benefit, right? It is for like our future and everything like that. And so, yes, I try to remind ourselves to don't forget about the present as well. But at the same time, I try to um, have grace, mercy, and patience, because at the end of the day, I understand that, hey, what he is doing is ultimately, for me and for our son and things in that nature. So, I don't know. I just feel like the husbands, men, they're having a hard time right now. In my little humble opinion, like there's really something that's coming against like men. I feel like right now, either trying to weaken them or trying to um, make us think a certain way about men, and and not all deserve that type of treatment. There are, all men aren't bad. Um, there are some good men out there. There's some good men that are, upright and righteous men, and so yeah, I guess again, this is where the inspiration comes from today. This is what I feel led to just kind of look into and study for myself. And so yeah, that's pretty much what I'm sharing this morning. So let's get into it, y'all. 3 John 1:11 says, "Beloved, do not imitate evil, but imitate good. Whoever does good is from God. Whoever does evil has not seen God." So, I mean, if you want to know what a good man looks like, I mean, he most likely is imitating good, and not evil. Um, I mean, that seems a little bit self-explanatory, as they say to me, but hey, just in case, you need a little something to start with, that's a good indication that that's a good man. Luke 6:45, it says, "A good person out of the good treasure of his heart produces good, and the evil person out of his evil treasure produces evil. For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks." So what I'm receiving here as I read this is that his speech and what he produces will be good as well, and not evil. A good man, right? You know. So I mean, I guess we obviously have discernment and whatnot. I mean, as you quote unquote judge, or as you observe, right, a man or whatever the case is. I mean, you can see what his heart is producing, right? You can see what his speech produces, and I guess discern whether that's evil or not. And then I guess that'll let you know if you are in front of a good man or not. Titus 2:2, it says, "Older men are to be sober-minded, dignified, self-controlled, servant." If I'm not okay, I don't know. Y'all can go confirm that word, because I don't know what I wrote, y'all. So sorry about that. But it says, "In faith, in love, and steadfastness." So I'm not sure if that's servant or not, but something in faith, in love, and in steadfastness. So yeah, definitely go confirm that words. Obviously, it's very important, because it's telling us what that in faith and love and in steadfastness is what how the older men should be. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, I mean, if you are in front of a gentleman again that is not sober minded, that might be an indication of the type of man that he is. If he's not dignified, if he doesn't have self-control, whatever the other word is, in faith and love and steadfastness, things like that. Yeah, just something to just again show what a good man looks like. So then we got Proverbs 11 and 17. It says, a man who is kind benefits himself, but a cruel man hurts himself. So that's another indication. Again, a good man would be kind as well, and not cruel. You know, that is something that, and I know I talk about my husband a lot on here, y'all, but I mean, hey, he's the gentleman that I'm around the most or whatever. And I think I hear him coming in now and whatnot. But one thing I will say about him is that he definitely exudes like patience and kindness, and the way that he listens to me and things like that. I mean, to me, I feel like those are different attributes that the Lord gives us in regards to again, love is patient, love is kind, and all those different things. I feel like he exemplifies that, at least to me, right? So again, when we're looking for a quote unquote good man, right? At the end of the day, if you're presented with an individual and they don't line up with any of this, then perhaps you may not be in front of a good man. But however, if they do exude some of these qualities and whatnot, then hey, this may be the type of man to not just gravitate to or whatever, but to also appreciate and whatnot. I mean, obviously it goes deeper. There's a lot that the word has to say about, again, men and husbands and things like that. But I guess to wrap up this conversation this morning, I'll just wrap it up with Psalm 112 and 1. It says, praise the Lord. Blessed is the man who fears the Lord, who greatly rely in his commandments or delights. I'll read that again. It says, praise the Lord. Blessed is the man who fears the Lord, who greatly delights in his commandments. So ultimately, again, the beginning of wisdom starts with the fear of the Lord. So again, when it comes to being a quote unquote good man, he would need to delight in the Lord and his commandments. And I mean, that's ultimately the juice this morning. Y'all can go deeper about all of this and check it out on your own. But the Bible verse of today is Psalm 42 and 1. It says, as the heart panteth after water brooks, so panteth my soul after thee, O God. Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. I look forward to talking to you all on Monday, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye.
Hey y'all, I'm Nyla O'Neal with Anchor Phlebotomy Institute. We're located at 737 South Hill Street in Griffin, Georgia. Look, this program was birthed out of a will to help and push you closer to your dream, customizing each and every learning path for each and every student, giving you hands-on education with myself and other teammates. We're here to help you and drive you to be the best version of yourself. Look, we're a 12-week program, and it will be vigorous, but it will be worth the work. Put the work in, you will see it in the end. We are dedicated to seeing you not only finish our program, but to get certified. We are an accredited school through the National Phlebotomy Solutions, and we are so ready to meet each and every one of you. Contact us